Hello everyone to a special March Madness edition of Sportsballin. I'm Dylan Simmons alongside Seth Tackett and TJ Warner, and let's jump right into the action here. The conference champions have been decided in dramatic fashion. Chattanooga, Tennessee, and Virginia Tech in particular stand out as major contenders. Guys, what is your reaction to these tournament results?
Yeah, first off, I'm going to start with Chattanooga winning the SoCon. Wow, that is just an amazing job. Look at right here, the buzzer beater for the win by John Baptiste. And the stadium just erupts, so they storm the court and everything. That was a big win for the Mocs there. DeSosa, the transfer from Kansas, the big guy for the Mocs, and also Malachi Smith, he's averaging 20.1 points per game, 6.7 rebounds per game. Man, the Mocs got it done, and they have a chance to make a run in this tournament.
Yeah, absolutely. And then, going and pivoting over to Virginia Tech, having a big upset win over Duke, upsetting Coach K, going for that final ACC tournament title. And, Duke couldn't get it done. Virginia Tech, they win their first ACC tournament title. And, win in dramatic fashion, too. Not just getting the win, but beating Duke, who is, it's Duke and North Carolina usually that are beating up on people in the ACC. So, those guys over Virginia Tech, it had to mean a little bit more, not just to win their first title, but to win it against Duke, to beat one of the premier teams in the ACC.
100% agree. And jumping over to our friends over in Knoxville, UTK with a dramatic victory of the SEC Championship. And I got to say, I watched a lot of that game, was really impressed by what I saw. And really, it hasn't just been the SEC tournament. It's been what they've been able to do all season. We've seen them get victories over teams like Auburn, over teams like Kentucky, and they've proven it once again. Big victory over Texas A&M. They're a team that's got a lot of potential and a lot of talent. I think we've all seen how they've coalesced all season. You can see it there on the screen right now. But you can see how they pass the ball, how they move it inside. I really think they're a balanced team that can just play in a lot of different ways, and that makes them dangerous. And let's not forget, they're getting that momentum at the perfect time. They are going to be a team to watch, guys.
Yeah, and going back to that, the ACC and SEC tournament, there was two teams in both of those that were definitely getting in the tournament. And there was also two teams in those that were on the line, on the bubble, maybe have no chance unless they win that game. Virginia Tech got the job done, and they're in the tournament because of that automatic pick. Texas A&M fell up a little short against Tennessee, and look where they're at. They're not in the tournament. So obviously conference champions still matter, and it's still a way for teams to get into the NCAA tournament.
Yeah, and talking about Texas A&M, I was seeing online there's still quite a few people surprised that they didn't make it. Some people felt like they did enough in the tournament. I think against Tennessee though, especially, you saw that game started. It started, Tennessee was up 14-0. And I honestly believe Texas A&M was just a little gassed from their previous matchups. You got to give them all the credit in the world. I think they left it all out on the court, but Tennessee only playing 3 games, and they're so talented, they just came out and got the job done.
Well, congratulations to all 3 of those championships. Going to be ones to watch for sure. Everybody, time to get your pens out because the March Madness bracket extravaganza has been revealed. This year looks to be especially intriguing with many unique teams. Guys, what is your reaction to these brackets?
Yeah, well, first look at the bracket. Obviously, everyone thinks, when they think of the bracket, who's in, who's out, the bubble teams. And some of the surprising factors of the bubble teams for me, Michigan, they got into the tournament and not even in the first 4. They were the last 4 into the tournament without even having to play into the field. 2 big names that are out, Dayton and Texas A&M. Obviously, like you said earlier, Texas A&M, that people thought they did enough in the tournament, and more than likely just got gassed late because they had to go through more games in the tournament, got gassed, couldn't come up with the victory against Tennessee. But Dayton and Texas A&M, 2 bubble teams that I thought were going to get in, then did not get in.
Yes.
Yeah, for me, one thing I thought was interesting, looking at the West, and just the whole bracket in general. This seems like this is going to be an extra competitive year where it's usually there's like 1 or 2 teams where everyone's like, okay, these guys are going to make it to the Final Four. I don't know if that's the case this year. At least, Gonzaga, in the West, they're the 1 seed. I don't think they're a lock to get to the Final Four. But I would say that of all the 1 seeds, I don't think anyone is definite, okay, I'm 100%
Yeah,
sure.
You can even go back to my hot take a couple weeks ago when I said 0 number 1 seeds would make the Final Four. I said that because 6 of the top 10 teams fell that week in college basketball. So, I mean, that just shows you upsets are going to happen, and March is madness, and it's coming.
Oh, it's going to be madness for sure. Moving over to the East for just a second, we've also got a lot of other great teams to look at here. We talked a little bit about the top seeds. It's going to be interesting to see how Baylor shakes out. I think they're a team that I think might have a little bit of a letdown. We'll get more in depth with that later. But I also see teams like UCLA. I see teams like Texas Tech. I think those are going to be teams that you're going to want to watch as this one moves forward, and going to be teams that could pull some upsets and could result in a lot of parity. And of course, we got some other divisions as well.
Yeah, I'm going back to the East though. I still like there's a couple higher seeds there that I wouldn't be shocked if they win. Going to the Wyoming Indiana game, that's a first 4 game, 2 bubble teams. I mean, we know what UCLA did last year in the first 4. They made it to the Final Four. Don't be surprised if Indiana or Wyoming comes out of that first 4 game and upset St. Mary, or even Virginia Tech possibly upsetting Texas in that East bracket.
Yeah, and going into the South now, one thing I thought was honestly a little surprising, that Tennessee was a 3 seed. I thought that the tear Tennessee has been on here at the end of the season, and finishing actually, they finally finished the job and won their first SEC title since 1979, if I remember correctly. And I thought when they won the title, I was like, oh, they're a 2 seed, guaranteed. And then the bracket dropped, and I'm like, well, I guess I don't know much, apparently.
Yeah. You went along with just about every other analyst in ESPN, CBS, Fox. Everyone else thought they were a 2 seed as well after the SEC tournament. And
easily.
Just the committee did not see it in that eyes.
Yeah, I mean, and it wasn't just, the fact that, they had a good tournament. The lead up to the tournament, I mean, beating Auburn, beating Arkansas, and beating them in pretty convincing fashion. I know some of these games, they let teams get back in it right at the end. But, a lot of those matchups, they were winning convincingly. And then the last 2 minutes, they allow 10 points or something. It's kind of weird how they consistently did that, but they still got the job done.
Yes, they've been very consistent overall. It certainly appears as though it's going to be an incredible March Madness for the ages. When we come back, we're going to discuss potential underdogs, players to watch, and more March Madness drama. Stick around here on Sportsballin.
Son, love is like the ocean. You have to tread the waters.
Dad, that's not the kind of help I needed. Jessica, will you go to prom with me?
Yes.
Thousands of teens in foster care can't wait to share their first with you.
If I could go back and change it all, I would. I think I'm gonna miss you the most. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Maybe it's just the little moments. If I could go back and change it all, if I could go back, I would. But I can't.
Once there was a boy who did the same thing again and again. One day, he was told he had autism. He got help and slowly learned how to live with it better.
Early intervention can make a lifetime of difference. Learn the signs at autismspeaks.org.
Natural disasters are a fact of life in the U.S. And between activities and school, chances are you won't be with your kids when they happen. Will they know what to do? Ready.gov/kids can help your children feel prepared, not scared. So talk with your family today.
Put the keys down, Kevin.
But I'm gonna drive home.
There are several warning signs present that you shouldn't be driving.
My text-to-emoji ratio has gotten a little out of hand.
A little?
Yep, I'm definitely gonna call a ride home.
All right, Kevin. I'll see you in the morning.
All right, bye. 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 All right,
And we are back. March Madness always guarantees dramatic results across the board, and this year looks to be no exception. I have 3 questions for you guys here. First up, we're going to be asking your underdog here for March Madness, and we're also going to be asking what's going to be the first top seed to fall, guys.
Yeah, for me, my biggest underdog, with the team to look out for, I'm taking South Dakota State over Providence. I'll tell you why. South Dakota State, the #1 in three-point field goal percentage with 44.9 in the country. So these Jackrabbits can shoot the ball. #2 in the country in field goal percentage with 52.5. Providence, yeah, they're the Big East regular season champions. Probably underperformed in the Big East tournament. Jackrabbits coming out of Summit League, put on a show. Not only that, they can shoot the ball really, really well. Douglas Wilson, really big post for them. He can dribble, shoot, pass to all these shooters. Watch out for the Jackrabbits. That's my biggest underdog for the tournament. For the top seed to fall, I have Baylor. I have Baylor losing to UCLA in the Sweet 16. I think that's going to be an interesting matchup. Johnny Juzang from the UCLA, the Final 14 last year, I think they're going to get the job done and get Baylor as the first Sweet 16 exit, first #1 seed to lose.
Yeah, for my biggest underdog, it's got to be Wright State. Wright State, they had a great tournament run. They were able to upset and make it. I mean, they had to win their conference tournament to make the NCAA tournament, to have any chance. And they got the job done, but now they got to play Bryant University, who has 2 of the top scoring players in NCAA. They got Peter Kiss and Charles Pride. Both those guys are great scorers. For Bryant, they're going to give Wright State a lot of trouble, I believe. And even if Wright State gets past Bryant, well, guess what? Now you got to play Arizona, the 1 seed. So I just think they've got a really tough task ahead of them. I took a little different route for biggest underdog. You think South Dakota State's got a chance to make a run? Wright State for me, I don't think they got much of a shot.
Absolutely. Now, we're going to transition into players to watch because there are a number of incredible players across the nation. So, guys, we're going to ask you, who do you think possesses the intangibles needed to be successful?
Yeah, my first player that I have is Drew Timme from Gonzaga. Man, this guy is a post-paint beast for Gonzaga. He's been there forever. And Drew Timme, if you want to look at the highlights that we have coming up, Drew is just an overall great player for Gonzaga. Glue guy, keeps them together. If they need a bucket, they're going to Drew Timme in the post. If you look at what they did last year in the tournament, Jalen Suggs had the freshman for Gonzaga. Anytime he was in trouble, he went to Drew Timme. And look at the post moves he puts on Oklahoma in last year in the tournament. He's just, the stash is back, man. And watch out for him in this year's tournament. My second player that I have is Johnny Davis from Wisconsin. I think he's one of the best breakout players in college basketball this year. Definitely came out of his shell early in the year and it just blossomed into one of the best off the ball or off the dribble type of player. He can pull up from just about anywhere on court. As you see him shooting a 3 early against Houston, which Houston, that's a really good team. That's a #5 seed in the bracket, and they probably could have been higher after they won the American. But Wisconsin, Johnny Davis, he can take them a long way.
Yeah, okay, and then for my top players to watch, first off, I got Douglas Wilson from San Diego State.
The Jackrabbits.
Yeah, he, or South Dakota State, excuse me.
Jackrabbits.
Yes, 16.5 points per game, 5.5 rebounds. I mean, he's a big part of the reason they went undefeated in conference play. They're on a 21-game win streak. That's the most in Division I basketball right now. We talk about having good momentum going in the tournament. I mean, doesn't get much better than 21 straight wins. So, and he's been a big part of that. So he's a player to watch as they make their run. And then next, Kennedy Chandler for University of Tennessee. Now, he's averaging just under 14 points per game, 4.6 assists. So I know those stats might not jump out as much as some of the other players that we might mention, but he was the SEC tournament MVP. And when Tennessee needs a play, whether that be on the offensive side of the ball or defensive side of the ball, Kennedy Chandler is the guy that makes the play. So I look for him to have a big impact in Tennessee's run.
Well, for my players to watch, first up, I'm going to go with Villanova's Colin Gillespie, and I got to say, he is a guy who is, simply put, a difference maker. And we're talking about a guy who puts up 15.9 points, and he shoots 42.2% from three-point range. That is incredible. And got to say, as a Villanova fan, got to admit it, I watched him in the Big East Championship game against Creighton, and the way he was able to make plays at the end, there were times where Nova was trailing in that game by 1, 2, 3 points. They needed a basket. Who was there? Gillespie. He was able to do things that other players simply aren't able to do, and he's got that experience. He's got that veteranosity, and that's what really separates him from the rest, at least in my point of view. I think he's going to be a guy to watch, and he could be the sleeper highlight of the tournament. Going to be interesting to see for him. And for my other player, we've also got Andrew Nembhard. Now, this guy is the point guard from Gonzaga, and he is what I'll call the conductor of the highest scoring offense in the NCAA men's basketball tournament. And he's going to be a guy that's going to be a difference maker for the Zags. He shoots 46% from the field, and he is a guy that really also has a lot of great assists and does a great job of really getting the offense where it needs to be, and he's a leader. And we saw what Gonzaga did last year as well. They were able to go far, all the way to the national title game. They're going to be playing with a chip on their shoulder, and I think Nembhard will as well. If there's one thing that college basketball fans love to do, it is selecting the Final Four, of course, with many potential competitors. The job is not easy, but the question I pose to you guys is, who will it be?
Yeah, so my Final Fours, I have out of the West, the number 3 seed, Texas Tech. Out of the East, the number 4 seed, UCLA. Out of the South, 2 seed, Villanova. And out of the Midwest, a 5 seed, Iowa.
For my Final Four, I'm going Tennessee, UCLA, Gonzaga, and Auburn.
All right, for my Final Four, I'm going to go with Gonzaga, UCLA, Villanova, and Kansas. Going to be interesting to see how all of that plays out, of course. And a quick reminder as well that the first games will be played on March the 15th. When we come back, it is now time for some scorching hot takes of the week. And stick around here on Sportsballin.
Foster care, I never knew when I would have to move, so I always had my suitcase ready to go. Then one day I was adopted. My new parents opened their hearts and home to me. My parents cook my favorite breakfast for me every morning. My parents take me on trips I never thought I would go on. They gave me a home and an even better reason to use that suitcase. My parents aren't perfect, but they're perfect for me.
Jordan knows he shouldn't eat this entire bowl of nachos, but tonight he's earned that right, because a few hours ago in the middle of happy hour, he recognized a sign, not from the gods or a bolt of lightning, but from a double heart, a kissy face, and a fourth ha in ha ha ha. That's when Jordan knew he was buzzed. So when it was time to go, he got a ride home instead of driving. Be a legend like Jordan. Recognize your buzzed warning signs and get a ride home. Buzz driving is drunk driving.
The black truck? Hey, Christina from accounting.
Yeah, hi.
Hey, I used to date a girl named Christina.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and then she dumped me for my best friend. You want to see some photos of them that I took?
I don't.
I thought we talked about this, buddy.
Buzz and overshared again?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna call a car.
That's a smart idea.
So yeah, I know, that's why I did it.
Hey, you're gonna get back to the top of the mountain.
Does that mean I'm gonna get back with Christina?
No.
Oh.
No.
My lonely days are gone. That's why I'm
Here you go.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Welcome back to Sportsballin, and let's go get into those scorching hot takes of the week. TJ, what do you have for us?
Yeah, my hot take of the week is the Browns will be a contender in the AFC next year. And the reason I have that, the Amari Cooper trade, wide receiver from the Cowboys going to the Browns, he's going to replace what Odell was missing in the later parts of that year. They're going to make another move in the offseason. I feel like they just released Jarvis Landry today. He signed with the Chiefs. They're going to make another move at wide receiver more than likely. They're going to have Chubb and Hunt back. That offensive line is revamped. Baker is either going to have the year of his life or they're trading him. That's just how it's going to go. And I think the Browns, that defense is a couple pieces away. Fix it in the draft real quick this year. They're going to be a contender.
Yeah, TJ, I don't know, I think you said there at the end too, they're still a couple of pieces away, and especially too with the uncertainty with Baker, I don't know if they're quite ready yet to be a contender.
Yeah, I'm going to have to disagree with you on that one. Listen, Baker Mayfield is a guy who brought hope to the city of Cleveland, but now he has brought sadness to the city of Cleveland with his interceptions. I just don't see the inconsistency, and of course they just lost Jarvis Landry earlier today. That's a huge piece, and I know they're getting Amari Cooper back, but to me the Browns seem like a team that spells 6-11. So Seth, what's your hot take?
Well, my hot take is that Tom Brady, the GOAT himself, is going to win another Super Bowl. And fun fact, guys, Tom Brady, since 2013, he's actually won a Super Bowl every other year. And guess what we're at? We're at the every other year with him coming back. So, because, they won in 2020, lost in the divisional this year. We are there. The time has come. I got a feeling Tom Brady is going to come and get another Super Bowl ring added to the collection.
Yeah, I just, he's coming back. He's just, look what happened this year. He's another year older. He's losing weapons too. I just don't think it's going to happen.
Here's what I'm going to say. Tom Brady, you are terrorizing me right now, okay? I thought he was gone. I thought he was out of all of our lives. I thought he was out of the NFL, but he's not. He's back, and he's going to terrorize everybody. And I would say, against all logic, it makes no sense for him to succeed at the age of 45. But you know what? Despite all of the odds against him, despite the weapons going away, despite his age, he's going to win another Super Bowl just because. That's my take. Now, moving on. Ridicule me if you want, but my hot take is that the Green Bay Packers re-signing Aaron Rodgers was a mistake. And listen, I'm a Packers fan at heart, so I know them about as well as anybody. And I'm just going to tell you, and yeah, he's got some good highlights there, good throws, I get it. But listen, Aaron Rodgers, at the end of the day, has not gotten the job done. He lost to the San Francisco 49ers and only scored 10 points the entire time. And I just don't get it. I don't know why it hasn't been able to work out. And I think that at a certain point in time, you have to cut the cord. He's getting older, he's on the wrong side of 30, and we're losing a lot of weapons because of this huge contract, think about the guys we've lost. We lost Billy Turner, we have lost Zadarius Smith, and I think it's only going to get worse. Devontae Adams could potentially leave. It's getting bad for the Packers, and Aaron Rodgers is the main primary point of concern right now.
Well, you said you're a Packers fan. I'd like to add to the bandwagon Packers fan. Never even been in the state of Wisconsin. I just don't. Aaron Rodgers is two-time reigning MVP of the league, of NFL. How do you not want this guy on your team, leading your team? Quarterback, most important position in football. You need a good quarterback. Aaron Rodgers is the best quarterback in the NFL right now, even over Tom Brady. Tom Brady is the most winning. Aaron Rodgers is the best, talent-wise. I would rather have Aaron Rodgers than anyone else leading my team. And with Aaron Rodgers, you always have a chance. You're never out of it.
Yeah, Dylan, I'm not with you on this one. I don't know. I mean, I'm almost speechless. Truly, I'm almost speechless. I mean, I get what you're saying with, we're coming up just short. We're coming up just short. If Jordan Love's your starting quarterback, you're probably not making the playoffs. That's what we're talking. We're not talking, you're a little short. You're not there at all. So I just don't understand where that mindset is of like, I don't want to be making the playoffs. I don't want to be make it to the NFC Championship game, because you got to make it there to have a chance to get to the Super Bowl. What you're talking about, you're probably not going to even make it to the playoffs.
Well, all I'm going to say is this. The things these eyes have seen are something. 4 NFC title losses in 10 years. Well, that's it for Hot Take of the Week. And when we come back, we're going to bring you those dynamite picks. Stick around here on Sportsballin.
Son, love is like the ocean. You have to tread the waters.
Dad, that's not the kind of help I needed. Jessica, will you go to prom with me?
Yes.
Thousands of teens in foster care can't wait to share their first with you.
If I could go back and change it all, I would. I think I'm gonna miss you the most. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Maybe it's just the little moments. If I could go back and change it all. If I could go back, I would. But I can't.
Once there was a boy who did the same thing again and again. One day, he was told he had autism. He got help and slowly learned how to live with it better.
Early intervention can make a lifetime of difference. Learn the signs at autismspeaks.org.
Natural disasters are a fact of life in the U.S. And between activities and school, chances are you won't be with your kids when they happen. Will they know what to do? Ready.gov/kids can help your children feel prepared, not scared. So talk with your family today.
Put the keys down, Kevin.
But I'm gonna drive home.
There are several warning signs present that you shouldn't be driving.
My text to emoji ratio has gotten a little out of hand.
A little?
Yep, I'm definitely gonna call a ride home.
Back, it's pick time here on Sportsballin. Let's get right to it with Texas A&M Corpus Christi taking on Texas Southern. Guys, who do you got?
I have Texas Southern in this first 4 matchup. I think they move on.
Yep, I got Texas Southern as well.
Texas Southern for me as well. And next up, Indiana versus Wyoming.
I take Indiana this one. I really like the way they've moved on in the Big Ten tournament. Got upset by Iowa with the buzzer beater by Jordan Bohannon, but TJD gets it done for Indiana.
Yeah, I agree with you as well. I think this is an interesting matchup. I think whoever wins this matchup is going to have a good chance to make a run in the tournament. I'm going with Indiana as well.
Indiana's getting it done, guys. Well, that's all the time we have today for picks, and that's all the time we have today for Sportsballin. But thank you all so much for tuning in. Remember, you can catch the show on BRTV anytime, and we'll see you guys here next time on Sportsballin. For Seth Tackett and TJ Warner, I'm Dylan Simmons. Thank you all so much for tuning in, and we'll see you soon.